Ano man nakaka-
Yun. So, layouting. Layouting. Well, aware ka naman sa meaning ng term na yan.
Oh yes, I am very much aware of what layouting is. Pero I really do need more context since I'm not of animation.
Well,
We're aware.
for our BSRK over here, and for those who are not aware with the term, layouting, basically in general terms, it's creating or I guess planning out the placements of characters, backgrounds, and other elements within one screen or scene.
So that's how it goes pala.
Yeah, sometimes though layouting can differ depending on the background of the individual. So as much as a general concept it is, it really changes per medium.
So each medium really has their own way of has their own perspective of how layouting works for them.
You could say that, something like that.
Ooh, okay. So then that means this episode is actually going to be an interesting one because we will be dabbling on layouting in terms of the two different perspectives that we have for comics and of course for animation.
Oh, grabe naman yan. Baka naman mag-away lang yung mga guests natin.
Rambutan.
So from here, I can assume that we will be having two different perspectives regarding the
Yeah,
topic of the
because
episode.
two of our guests do have their own perspectives on layouting, of course.
Oh, okay. Then to not delay it any further, for this third episode, and as usual, we will be inviting our fellow members in Animotion to join us in meeting the professionals in the field. So, our first guest for today, with no delay, he is actually one of our officers
Oh,
in
really
this
now?
org. Yeah, so I guess for our org members over here, kung nakikinig sila, if they are aware on their fellow officers, I think this will be a very familiar face for them, especially the works shown throughout the different posts that we have in the org.
Oh yeah.
So
They're good.
let us welcome Charles Foster Aquino.
Hi guys. Hi. My name is Charles Aquino, but you guys can call me Charlie. Will you provide background?
Well, ikaw, you're Charles. How much ba? Like serial number, bank detail, address?
Well, I'm currently an animation student in Vinyl and a member and officer of Animotion. As the creative head, I make and guide most of the graphic designing productions and illustrations that end up on Animotion social media. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, so kamusta day mo so far?
Oh, it's been really busy because of final season.
Really, final season. Don't we all relate to it?
Yeah, I know.
Kamusta na ba yung finals natin naman on our end? Last episode na review natin sa finals natin. Are we still staying strong right here?
Yeah, I guess we are staying strong pa rin. But not to fret, of course, we are gonna have our own chill time naman right now. Since not only do we have Charlie as a guest, we do have our own professional guest as
Oo
well.
nga pala, speaking of strong, why not introduce our next guest?
Okay, so our next guest actually has a large following in Facebook. And it's so large na actually featured na siya in numerous not only in numerous conventions, he's actually also featured in a TV show in GMA Dapat Alam Mo.
Okay.
With his mighty talong, syempre, nakapag na siya. With his mighty talong friend, he is going to have a Philippines wide tour actually this year, and his next major one is gonna be in Conquest. So we will expect him, his team, and of course his mighty talong friend.
Yeah,
there.
and if every one of you use social media a lot, then I think you have encountered his work more than one time already.
Not to further delay this, let us please welcome AJ Bakar of Sskait Comics.
Hello po. Good afternoon everyone. Maulan na good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
So, kamusta ka naman po dyan?
Okay naman, grabe yung panahon kasi maulan. Kita niyo sa
Oh
maulan sa
yeah, it's
labas
really
tapos
hard
I have
not
to
to.
do stuff here and whew, nakakatamad. Pero
Oh,
kailangan mag-function.
Yes, why not introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Cool. Hi, I'm AJ Bakar. So how do I introduce myself? Siguro I'm an engineer. I studied engineering, electronics engineering sa DLSU. Magkatapat lang tayo sa Taft.
Oh my gosh,
Tapos
kapitbahay.
yes, kapitbahay lang. Yuval, bahain tayo diyan. Tapos after nun, I worked in an engineering telco for around 5 years. And pagkatapos nun, I decided to shift into drawing cute talongs and cats and dogs. That's the jump. And sabi ko, joke ko nga eh, my mom must be very proud of shifting from engineering to art.
Actually nga po, ano yan, nang nalaman ko na guest ka, like, natuwa ako kasi like, like, never nalilipas ng isang araw na hindi ko makikita comics mo sa feed ko.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
remember last night, tinuro ko pa sa friends ko, yung ginawa mo yung nang naiwan mo, tas yung task, and then nang binalikan mo, tas
Oo.
Very
Nung weekend
relevant in
kasi,
current
kaya parang
times.
it's university life and even working life. Nako, laging ganyan.
Oh, so regarding pala dito, I guess to start things off for the episode. Wait, oh my gosh, nalutang ako dito.
Go lang. It's
Okay,
raining. Blame it to the rain.
totoo. Okay, then Albert, why won't you like start off?
Oh yeah, of course. Since we are talking to an esteemed comic illustrator, we of course are an animation org, and thus we are really curious ourselves. Have you ever dabbled into animated productions in your lifetime during your tenure as under at Skype Comics? Because
Yeah, of course. I did try doing animation talaga for some time. I think it was 2019 or 2020. Uh, kasi I was a fan of when I was in college. I've been watching Domix. Kung alam niyo si
oh
Domix,
my
right?
Yes,
god,
Dominic!
Yeah, so lit, 'di ba? And I've been watching medyo dark humor, yung mga Cyanide and Happiness. And when I was a kid, super dark humor, Happy Tree Friends, gano'n.
Yung
So,
mga
sobrang fogged up ng humor and, ng experiences ko about animation, 'no? And me, myself, of course, I'm an artist, so I kinda explored animation as well, and I've actually enjoyed it, 'no? Iba yung storytelling kasi sa animation versus sa comics. So, of course, I've also explored animation before.
oh yeah. There's a lot of I did see one of his animations, napaka nila. They really resonate that South Park vibes too. So very tas ang bagay pa dun is that the way he does his character styles also fit it because they really show off na oh my gosh, this is some surreal humor here. This works. There's this chemistry na nakikita ko nga rin and I really enjoyed looking at those so much. Pero, pero you didn't have a hard time with animating because did you have a hard time with animating? Because considering I also noticed that they're like minute long videos and you're also keeping up din yung sa comics mo rin. I wonder how you're able to maintain that one.
Oo, talaga, animation is really a challenging labor, activity, 'no? If I just wanna ask, were you referring to sa animation sa YouTube or dun sa TikTok, sa Facebook? Which animation yung
Pwede naman po
napanood
all
mo?
of the above.
Actually, yung mga nakikita
Oo.
kong yung mga nakikita ko from Sky Comics, they're mostly from Facebook talaga.
From Facebook, okay.
Yes.
Kasi parang before, I actually explored animation, doing it on Facebook and YouTube. Then now I did animation na reels, yung mga pang TikTok reels, yung mga short snippets na 10 to
Mm.
15.
Going for the
So
short
before I
content.
tried exploring din kasi yung mga 3-minute to 5-minute animations. Then I shifted to reels. Then now I'm focusing on comics eh. Uh, But going back to the question, yeah, medyo matrabaho talaga ang animation and it takes a lot of discipline and hard work talaga to finish an animation story para, oh, I have to do this frame by frame. I have to do this kind of motion, doing everything in iPad and tablet. I don't use kasi the animation software is in a desktop or a laptop, no.
Oh.
So medyo iba rin yung execution. But nonetheless, I was actually enjoying the process, and then at the end of it naman, it's the end results naman that count. So when the people watch it naman, it's really funny and lit. So parang, it's worth it after all. Parang ganun.
True. I actually did have an unorthodox way with animating. When I tried animating once, I didn't actually use an animation software at all. I didn't know about Toon Boom. I was having a hard time with Flash because the pen is so dog water. So the way that I did it is since I'm an avid Mediban user, I did the frame by frame basis in Mediban and it was so tedious.
Ganyan din ako, tipong Photoshop, tapos ine-edit ko na lahat sa Premiere yung mga bawat frames.
Oh
So,
god.
like yung pinakalumang panahon,
So
EBS Paint,
hard.
dyan ko ginagawa yung mga frames lahat sa mga bawat layers. Tapos isa-isa ko sila lahat ine-export. Tapos kinocompile ko na lang in a yung video editing app sa time na yan.
Oh my gosh, it's very hard.
Yeah, I've heard nga kapag sa desktop kasi and laptop, iba yung discipline talaga ng pag-animate eh. I recalled before pa when I did animation sa iPad, parang there's time na I'm using sketchbook kasi parang sinaselect ko yung layer then para pagalawin, I'm screen recording it. Tapos ginagalaw ko yung
Oh no!
para may cheats. Tapos lalagay ko dun sa animation just to make the motion kasi parang doing frame by frame kills a lot of time. Sabi ko, oh, I have to make this quick. Parang, Mina, wala naman akong super solid background about animation. I just watch it. So, parang I need to reproduce this kind of result. So, parang, why not do screen recording and make it move? And it worked.
Tipo talagang sariling diskarte, no? Ang importante may
Diskarte.
gawa yung final output, tapos masaya na lahat.
Oh, kasi parang I have to make I've been actually since I started Skate, I've been working on sa tablet lang talaga kasi I have to make my gadgets portable in making my art, animations, or comics kasi
Oh, so
my
true.
work demands me na parang lagi akong galaw ng galaw, punta ako ng punta sa ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Then lakad-lakad ganyan. So parang I have to make my art parang accessible for me. So parang I did everything sa tablet and the animations. All in the tablet. Lahat ng kayang gawin. Sometimes my friend akong animator nagulat siya, "What? You did everything on the tablet? How did you do that?" So sabi ko, I used three softwares and I did screen recording. And then like, wow, that's so awesome. Ayun, sobra. It's a really labor of love talaga and effort, and it was rewarding naman.
Felt. Pero ano to, curious din ako. Question din to for the two of you. First things first, like, what is like your definition regarding layouting? And other than that, I wanna know, since you've also like dabbled between like animation and comics, for the two of you, what do you think are like the differences between like layouting for something animated and something like for comics?
Yeah, is there like a significant difference with how you do your production basis or parang it's just the same pero gumagalaw lang pala siya kapag animation?
Candidate number one.
I'm not really sure sa specifics when it terms yung technical term ng layouting for animation, no? But how I see layouting kasi it's been done in many disciplines, no? I've been a section editor sa publication namin sa Plaridel sa DLSU. So, we also did layouting for newspaper. So, when we say layouting for comics, newspaper, and when I did my own layouting sa animation, it's more of parang placing the things na gusto na mabuo mo yung story or how you want to present the output na doon pa lang makikita mo na how you will perceive it sa hanggang sa end niya na result. Parang nakalapis lang ganon or naka-place lang siya dito. Siguro sa layouting in terms of newspaper, naka-layout na kung saan mo ilalagay yung word count, saan yung placement ng article na to, ng graphics na to. in terms of comics, when we do layouting, sa side ko parang I have to place yung punchline sa panel 3. I have to have the end in mind na kailangan sa panel 4 nakalagay yung item na to. Then dapat yung transition ng panel 2 and 3 smooth. Adding the different elements na dapat sa panel 1 kita, dapat lumabas sa panel 4. Yung punchline, ganun. Going with animation, it's kind of similar sa principle na nilalagay mo yung ano ba dapat yung i-expect mo na ending. Then you just, once you've laid it out there, you fill the gaps, you finalize it. Yun si layouting for me and when I did the practice.
Ay, ikaw ba, Charlie? Like, sa'yo ba, ano ba yung parang definition mo sa layouting? And then, what do you think, like, makes animation layouting different?
Actually, for me, I very much agree. Like, layouting in a sense for any medium is just placing things in the right way so that you can tell the best story with the elements you have. And as someone who is new but has experience with illustrating layouts for comics and for animation, I'd say that both of them brings their like pros and cons. And the main things you have to do for layouting, or the main things you have to keep in mind for layouting for animation, is that you're working with a camera that is essentially moving and it's going to be moving around your illustration. And so you have to make sure that every part that can be seen, that can possibly be seen by your animation or by your camera is of good quality, because you never know what's gonna cover what and what's gonna be seen eventually. So you have to really think about everything when it comes to animation for layout for animation. But when it comes to comics, it's almost the opposite, where because it's a still image, you have to think about what's going to be covered in the composition with speech bubbles or with the characters, and how do you bring focus to the what's happening narratively instead of creating distractions with very detailed backgrounds. I think both mediums use layouting to tell stories in very different ways, but it essentially does the same function.
Yes naman, your English is beautiful. Pero regarding pala din dito, I guess, have you guys struggled or like opinions? Kasi alam ko like every people who draws always dread this part of the illustration, which are like drawing background.
God.
Like
Oh, yeah.
whether detailed man or hindi, usually like when it comes to the topic of okay, what's gonna be the background, like a lot of artists that I know, dyan sila naging stagnant. And, you know, I'm fully aware naman din ako na most of your comics, like, blank na colors. Pero I've seen some where you, like, actually draw the props. Like, yun, parang yung isa yun, story, yun cashier lady, tas yung multong yung jowa. Tas meron ka, dinodrawing yung mga shelves and counters. Like, so, ba, do you, like, enjoy the process of backgrounds? What are your, like, thoughts? Like, do you also think that it's very an intimidating process?
Yeah, I think doing backgrounds is also part of the hard labor of making a comics and animation, but they are also one of the most essentials in storytelling kasi kailangan silang nandoon para makwento mo yung storya or yung nangyayari sa scene. There had been instances before na I did a comic without a background, and I thought on instinct, wait, this should have a background. Parang kulang yung storytelling. So when I did the background, I have my peers check it. Sabi na, oh yeah, that's actually better sa storytelling. That gives context on anong nangyayari. Parang ganon. And it actually adds hours to make the backgrounds, of course, kasi it's not
Wow.
like the usual character that you have. And syempre, minsan you add multiply. Sa side ko kasi minsan I just do flat colors, and for backgrounds, I have to do multiply colors. So parang I have to add texture, I have to add story, I have to take consideration ng perspectives. Dapat level yung perspectives dun sa character mo. Yeah, so may nakakabaliw. But uh, It's tedious, but it's essential. And well, playing with colors, parang enjoy the process. Enjoying the process kasi sometimes the fun part of doing the backgrounds as the creator is you have the power or capability to add little details na ikaw lang nakakapansin na
Oh
parang pwede mong
Yes.
yeah.
i-zoom in na, oh, I have the power to make the background. So, I can add details like kung may gusto kong asalin na friend, pero i-zoomin mo ikaw to.
So, yung ibig sabihin yung mga friends mo na nakikinig ngayon, aabangan na palagi mag-zoom in sa comics mo.
Most of the time, kasi most of my comments before, I did it para asarin o dog show yung mga kaibigan ko eh. Kaya most ng mga
Oh
comics ko,
gosh.
like, yung iba ginagamit din, di ba? Kasi parang same-same na naman tayo, may mga friend tayong gusto nating asarin. Ganun din. So, it's in the details talaga.
Yeah. Imagine that one. May mga inside jokes ka pala, tapos siningit mo sa comic.
To be honest, I think like isa yun sa I think it could also like help make the process even more fun na
Yeah.
like nakaka-enjoy din at the
True.
same
It
time.
really does make me, and it really makes, it gives me a lot of enjoyment if ako lang nakakaintindi sa isang detail.
Totoo, actually, parang sometimes you just have to enjoy the process. There was a time na when I was making comics, I just had a had the idea na parang why not i-live ko yung paggawa ng comics. So when I had it live, and then ay parang tapos ko na, sabi ko na lang, "Oh, may gusto ba kayo idagdag?" Tapos nagko-comment yung mga tao, "Lagyan mo ng talong, lagyan mo ng ganito, lagyan mo ng ganyan." Tapos ako parang, well, I have time to spare naman. So, ayun, pinaglalagyan ko ng maliliit na
Oh
details
my
dun sa
gosh.
background. Tapos when I uploaded actually it was a Muto-serie episode. I think it was episode 2 or something kay Florecita. Mga una-una pa yan ng mga episode. Tapos in-upload ko. Nakakatawa yung detail kasi parang these details came from the audience, no?
Oh yeah.
And it actually makes sense. So, and it was actually really funny. Though it adds hours, but it was actually funny. So parang sabi ko, sure, it adds, kumbaga, it complements the story that you're telling. So sabi ko, why not?
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
do
And
it.
heavily associated na talaga sa yung talong. So,
Oh,
with
Nice.
I actually want to add
Lahat.
something. Oh, the whole like it's so hard to draw background sometimes. Like ang daming details that you can put into it, and like sometimes as someone in animation who does a lot of layouting and who's very very interested in doing background art, it's kind of I'm kind of envious sometimes of the comic medium because like when everything is just drawn out in a page, the audience really has a lot of time to just look at everything, gaze at all the details, and like appreciate everything. But when it comes to animation, like everything is timed, and so sometimes you just have this very beautiful painting of a background, and it's there for like 2 seconds and it's gone. And like you have to pause to even like look and appreciate it. Sometimes people like don't even take the moment to appreciate like what took hours of work.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
kung tama nga din naalala ko, like at first hindi mo pa nga gusto mag-drawing ng background.
Oh,
Pero,
yeah.
like you had a full character development. And as
Yeah.
far as I know, you really enjoy doing backgrounds now.
Yes, yes. I used to be really into character design and character art. But like eventually when I started doing backgrounds, I realized there's less pressure doing backgrounds because in backgrounds you just get to have fun, make the world feel real, fill up that world. Where when drawing characters, you really have to think about are your characters telling the story that you're supposed to tell? There's a lot of pressure in that. So that's why I think I enjoy backgrounds more now.
Buti lang that you're able to enjoy those.
Wala, ako never. Never ako mag-enjoy. It's an
Kasi,
acquired taste.
kasi even for me, I feel like it would be tedious if you try to put a lot of additional details into the background. But
Yeah.
if it really suits you and you enjoy it, yeah, go for it. Don't try to block yourself out of it. Even though it's still moving, there's still that small few that will try to appreciate the little details when they're gonna go by frame. I've seen a lot of people like that. Every Disney show that I've ever known, may mga fans na they really go in detail to what they see, like the Gravity Falls ciphers, like the foreshadowing with the recent one.
The ciphers.
Diba? There's like a lot of foreshadowing in the ciphers. There's also a lot of foreshadowing elements dun sa Owl House and Owl House and Amphibia. Oh my gosh! Whenever they're trying to add the little details, you can really see it, and then you're gonna notice. Hey, I've seen this detail before. It's from the old. It's from this one episode. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
But yeah, there is really a lot of there's really a lot of details being missed out when you're doing animation, but it's still fun when you're doing it in comics talaga. They really have that.
Actually, I would like to add din na nabanggit niyo kanina yung sa detalye, details about the backgrounds, no? When I was a kid, I was watching anime and reading mangas and stuff na parang I'm just appreciating the story and everything. Oh, lots been happening. And naalala ko before 'pag nag-a-addict ako sa manga, I'm just reading everything parang mabilis,
Yeah.
parang, "Oh, ang galing," ganyan. Then when I was actually growing up and doing the panels by myself, dun ko nakikita yung parang, "Oh my God, these people are spending so much time to make
Yeah.
to make the backgrounds, reading mangas or mga animation, let's say Demon Slayer, sobrang intense ng animation." Tapos, ah, as a reader, parang ini-skim mo lang na 1 second, oh, next page, first animation, parang, a lot of times being spent.
Yeah.
All those time needed to make the story more, more parang mas precise tsaka mas intense yung storytelling.
Yes.
I feel guilty now.
Sending appreciation and love to all background artists. Yes.
Now just reading the mangas, I should really tell that they really did a great job every time. Especially with the recent ones, they're now more detailed than ever.
Yeah.
Alain mo
People
naman.
going out.
Yeah, they're really bold and bombastic with their shadows and their lighting, everything from the shadows. They're very detailed nowadays with their backgrounds, and I think when I'm gonna read the manga next time, fine. I'll take a look at every panel. Let's see.
I'm actually guilty kasi ako pag nire-rush ko yung manga, parang
Yeah.
for the story kasi ako eh. So, invested ako sa story, I have to like skim. Like when I was reading Solo Leveling, parang sobrang nire-rush ko yung webtoon and I'm sorry din, pero I'm guilty.
May FOMO kasi kapag manga na kailangan mo talaga i-skim eh.
Oo, kasi yung invested ka talaga sa story, you rush talaga
Yeah.
everything.
The story is always gonna hit it for everyone, always.
But a lot of times in manga, because the panels are so small, it's hard to even fit any backgrounds in there.
Oh,
So a lot of times, kapag like may character centered like shot, there's like it's mostly just blank or screen tones, right?
Oh yeah, oo.
Yeah.
Now it made me wonder tuloy, when one makes a comic, what really is the hardest and the easiest part when you're doing that production? Kasi there's a lot of things going on in the production pipeline of a comic as well as in animation. But
Yeah.
I wonder, AJ, for your end, what's the easiest and hardest part that you had to deal with when producing comic?
Siguro, on my experience, paano ba? Kasi kung titignan mo in terms of hours, kung ang easiest and hardest is in terms of hours, ang pinakamatrabahong part is when you start the process na of line art, coloring, final tweaks, and details like that. Yan yung pinaka-laborious talaga, like, 4 hours or more para sa isang
Oh my
comic
God.
just to final. Pero personal experience, yung hardest as a storyteller, yung ideation talaga, min. As in, like, as a creator, parang you have an angle, paano mo siya i-present? Hence the layouting. Parang, okay, you have this funny idea. How do you present this? Saan mo ilalagay na panel? Paano yung paneling nga? And then after you make the story, you try to reread it. Ito ba yung message mo pa rin? Funny pa rin ba? You have to check it with your
Oh
peers.
no.
Important ang peer checking. Kasi minsan ang humor, tayo lang natatawa eh. O tayo lang nakakagets nung joke natin. So, kailangan mo pabasa sa friends mo. Then, look at their ideas. So, nakuha ba nila?
Sobrang maraming revisions.
Totoo, like, there were times like multoserye, writing a series, kasi kapag series may story continuity, everything has to be in place, start to end. Dapat the little details na hindi napapansin ng iba, but as a writer, I place little details na lumalabas sa along the story. Parang the little details should be there, and pag nilagay ko ba yung detail na to, yung story ba, would it still be compelling, or would it still fit as a one-shot comic? Kasi, Sskait, it's a one-shot comic. Dapat in 4 panels, pa-convey mo ang story. So, there would be times na nakatulala lang ako for 3 to 4 hours. Wala akong maisip. But there are times na kapag non-series comics, like yung mga one-shot lang na funny, going to the trend, or something authentic about yun na naisip mo, yun, it can go as fast as 30 to 1 hour. That's very easy. But
Wow.
writing and ideating a series, that's the most challenging. Kaya minsan nababaliw ako na rin. Like, I'm amazed with the writer of One Piece. Yung mga long series
Totoo po.
writers, parang, okay, Game of the novel, or Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, parang, paano nyo nagagawa yung brain nyo na masulat lahat?
How long did he last?
One Piece nga 1,080 chapters na, tapos
Yeah,
like
One
hindi pa siya
Piece.
nawawala sa story niya.
So parang the art form of comic na series kasi sa side ko parang, okay, I have this story na sinulat ko written form. But I have to present it in a 4-panel form na yung 4-panel na yon should be standalone storytelling. Sa manga kasi you can make a 1 page na it tells a story but not the whole story eh. With Skate, I have to write a one comic page na engaging as well, na nakwento ko yung story. So parang yun, hindi nakakabaliw na part. So sorry, kumama. Kasi it struck something in me that, yeah, for me, it's the hardest. In terms of labor, it's the finalization. In terms of nakakabaliw talaga, it's the ideation.
Pagdating ako sa multiserye, babalidate kita. Like, tawang-tawa palaga sa mga comics mo sa multiserye. Especially yung parang, like almost every chapter, volume, post mo sa multiserye, you always have syempre yun, cashier, yung babae. Tapos, sino man yung multo na nandyan, yung nanay ba or yung jowa. Tapos, nandyan din yung parang yung peanut gallery mo, yung mga nagbe-bend. Ay, yung mga, like, yung mga pumupunta sa store, mga bumibili. So, natatawa ako na parang, oy, like, 3 different things. Pero kahit pa paano, like, na-convey mo pa rin yung joke mo na maayos. And yun ba lang yung natatawa sa interaction ng mga multo. Tapos yung react, like yung cashier na parang, so parang may pagka-aloof siya. Pero yung pinaka-like, yung kumukuha talaga ng reaction yung mga bumibili dyan most of the time. Kaya tatawa lang talaga ako palagi sa dynamics ng lahat ng character sa isa't isa. And the way na nakakasya mo yan in like 4 panels, yun
Yeah,
nakaka-impress sa
that's a different form of effort talaga. Imagine that one. 4 panels, all of the characters are able to find chemistry in one another and we're able to convey a story. Grabe.
To be honest, sabi ko, yun yung nakakabaliw na part. To make everything, kasi ko, minsan tumatawa ako mag-isa. Man, recently, I'm starting to talk to myself. That was really weird before. I'm not doing this, but I'm talking to myself na parang, what if,
Oh, that's me whenever I'm trying to
tapos
think of
yan,
a
sa
story.
tawa ako. Man, I'm telling you, it's kind of weird, but I have to like, sabi ko nga, you have to word it out to make it real, to make it stick to your brain more. Ganun talaga. Kaya I really appreciate it that you're noticing the little details, even the characters interacting sa background.
Pag
Like there are
tutuusin
some
nga, like, gusto ko pa nga like mag-gush ng sobra, pero medyo limited tayo sa oras. So next time na lang ako mag-gush sa mga comics mo.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Thank you, thank you.
Alam na yan. Another episode.
Ano, pero
Another
Go
episode.
lang.
yun isa pa nga regarding sa story na meron ka nga din like, siyempre yung mga gawa mo like, yung mga funny, relatable moments in like sa Philippines, tapos siyempre yung mga like yung series mo. Pero yun never ko makalimutan. Yung bata na parang nagkakalat-kalat siya ng glitter.
Oh my
Tapos
God.
sinasabi ng mga like, oh yun, Marcin, anak mo, parang kinakalat yung glitter. And then yun sa last 2 panels na, yung lola niya na bulag, tapos niraramdaman niya, tapos sabi, oh, nay, ginawan ko pa. Kinilabutan ako doon, kasi it's like,
Oh.
parang, hala, twist agad, ano to. So parang never ko malimutan na, medyo nanibago ako doon, kasi usually like funny, yung mga comics mo. So yung mga ganyan like, nag-stand out sa akin. And
Thank you.
favorite ko, by far.
That's so nice. Thank you. If you've been around like 2016, 2017, I did the humor before to now was really di naman super different, but there was a shift. Like before I've been using to doing a lot of dark humor comics kasi nga sa influences ko. And then I had this habit to always like if my special event kunwari Christmas ganyan, magpo-post ako ng isang wholesome moving story, then the people will be like, "Oh my God, I was supposed to be celebrating today. Why am I crying?" Gano'n. And to parang to make a shock, ganun, no? And also, sometimes, maybe it's within me to add a part of inclusivity or part sensitivity rin sa, like, sa tao na it's not all fun and games. Parang we also want to share this kind of stories to add, um, yun nga, inclusivity and sensitivity din sa readers na, hey, we're not all fans. We're not all kalokohan lang. Ganun. We have this kind of stories as well. And that was really nice na it's something that struck to you, no? That comic then. Me when I was writing this, oh my God, this is so, oh, my heart. Like, I was
Yeah.
doing it.
Paano ba yung parang yun, like, considering yun sa frequent comic uploads mo, do you ever feel pressure to consistently produce comics na, like, out of fear of losing your audience engagement? And has that, like, ever affected your work?
Siguro yung fear ko dun sa momentum, fear of the momentum. Kasi when I started when I shifted to full-time comic artist, sabi ko, yes, I'll have all the time I can do. Posting every day, I can do this, something like that, ganyan. Then I've been having this momentum, ganyan. Then sometimes dumating yung point na parang I'm starting to feel pressured of my own parang own goals na parang I have to keep up with the things that I've set for myself. It's the pressure na parang, oh, kailangan ko siya sundan, parang gano'n. May gano'n inside of me na parang hindi talaga nawawala yung parang internal pressure, no? And even before, I've had that feeling of pressure then na parang mafe-feel mo talaga yun na, "Oh shit, kailangan ko siya sundan." When I started Man versus EPs, yung pinakauna kong comic,
Yes!
parang I
Oh my
was
gosh, isa din yan.
Oo, 'di ba?
Jeez.
I was doing that when I was working and din yung sobrang hirap na hirap ako kasi gusto ko sundan. People were asking, "Hey, next episode." But that time, I was just uploading every Wednesdays and Sundays or minsan once a week lang kasi I'm doing a different thing and sina-sideline ko lang si Sskait. May part ng pressure dahil nga gusto mo siyang sundan. Need ka parang the people are looking for it. And me myself, really want to maglabas ng next kasi I'm enjoying the story. So nandun siguro si pressure. Pressure in terms of na mawala, the fear of kung pressure in terms of the fear of losing an audience. Parang I haven't had that thought of it na pag pag gumawa ako matatakot ako baka mawalan ako ng audience. No, no, no. Kasi parang I'm actually running on the thought na when I create something talaga, it's for 5 years, no? It's something na authentic within me, my friends, people around me. Para it's really natural na parang I'm doing it. It started na doing it for the passion of what I'm doing. Like it's something internal. Then after some time, life events, it shifted to a purpose na I'm doing it for a purpose of creating a breathing space. Something na when a person reads this sa ingay ng mundo and nakita niya to parang I feel refreshed and it's a new angle and it makes me happy and fun ganun. So nandun ako ngayon nakatingin and ayun. So I hope I answered the question.
Well, I
So
guess
haba.
pagdating naman sa usapan of like, yan nga, consistency of download. Like, nakaka-relate din ako dyan in the fact na yung pressure na, dapat mag-post ako palagi sa IG ko and everything. And if I remember correctly, Charlie, parang you also mentioned before that, oh, you wanted to like post more sa account mo.
I think it's just an innate. I think there's somewhat an innate fear of like as an artist losing that standing, I think.
Oh,
That standing in like social media is so scary, considering like so much of our work is based on how much you're known for your like skill. And at the same time, like it's the challenge of like how do you keep yourself authentic and at the same time like deliver something that is like really well liked, you know? I think it's really a feat that not everyone can do, and it's really impressive when there are people who still manage to do it. So I think it's really admirable.
Hindi lang yan though. Syempre like, ah, wala akong engagement na mawawala kung hindi ako nag-post kasi wala akong following. Pero like imagining the fact na yan nga po yun sa'yo na may following ka nga talaga and like mas magiging evident sa'yo kung may mga maglo-lose interest or not. Habang ako parang, uy, 2 likes, okay, pwede na yan.
oh yeah.
Mm.
Ako, I
Siguro
wouldn't.
siguro to add to that, no, the internal pressure comes then from kasi I've set these habits, eh. Kasi what I've learned through the years is important ang habits. Why I've set up when I started Skate, why I've set up the Wednesday, Sundays. Then when I finished when I did full-time Skate, why I've set up to myself the internal metric on a daily keep a habit of myself.
What?
Okay, so sorry nawala yung mic. Okay. It's more of the it's more of the habits that I've set for myself kasi creating your habits is really important, no. Once you break off the habit, the cycle that you're doing, pwede ka kasi ma-off track, eh, na mawala yung parang yung beat mo, yung na ginagawa.
True.
There's something about habits, no? Then plus nga the people in the audience that are expecting na, uy, nasaan na yung next mo? So it's a mix, no? It's a mix. Yeah. Inad ko lang siya kasi parang napaisip din ako, o nga no, ano ba yung fear na to? Bakit ako may internal metrics na ganito? And then I've realized, yeah, I have these habits that I'm trying to maintain for myself. Then that's keeping a constant pressure for myself to deliver more. Parang ganun.
Ano yan? Isa din tanong. Ba't 7 Evelyn?
Ah,
Yan.
well, actually, nakakatawa yan kasi sobrang random lang. Kasi parang what was really natural ba of me? Well, lagi kaming dumadang 7-Eleven. Magpapagpag kasi yun yung pinaka-accessible. Tapos, I was thinking, that time when we're making multiserye, parang random lang siya nung nagsimula, di ba? Kasi nakita nyo, sobrang random lang talaga niya. Tapos
Mm-mm.
biglang nagkaroon ng cashier, nagkaroon ng love interest. Parang, what? Parang, it's all at the spur of the moment. Hindi talaga. Nagsimula siya na parang, nagsimula siya na parang random lang, na nakakatawa lang. Parang go. Actually, the 7 Evelyn came from parang a friend na parang, uy, ano pa pangalan mo kay Ate Cashier? Sabi ko, di ko rin alam eh. Tapos sabi niya isa, why not Evelyn? Para 7 Evelyn, gano'n. Sabi ko, ano, parang funny. Sige, gawin na nga natin yun. Ganun lang, sobrang random lang talaga. Most parts hindi pinag-isipan talaga na parang parang what struck us the most na funny, na what's natural for us until humaba na siya. Nung humaba na siya dun na parang sinulat ko na talaga yung story. Some between after ilang episodes, sinulat ko na yung start and end. Para when I make the stories na kasunod, may progression siya hanggang dun sa ending na gusto ko puntahan.
Oh my gosh. It's always the little things. It's
Yeah.
Well, pagdating naman din dito, consider mo ba yun comic illustration as a good alternative for an animator who's trying to find work opportunities or like just an artist in general?
Yeah.
Like pag comic illustration, go, like good idea, ganyan.
Um, like, you mean being a comic artist as a job opportunity versus an animator? Sorry? Ganun
No,
ba?
parang if ever I feel like like I'll put it in my context, parang what would happen if I, the animator, could not find any work opportunities within my field? Could comic illustration be a good alternative for me?
Oh, okay. it's a challenging actually it's very challenging here in the Philippines. I've had a podcast before na nabanggit ko rin yan. It's art, living full-time art in the Philippines. It's really challenging kasi nga sa opportunities na meron tayo here, no. It's hard to be a creator if you're creating something out of the interest of making money out of it. Siguro doon ko sisimulan. Kasi
Oo.
if when I started Skate, I did it for a passion. Right now, I'm creating the comics. There's no money from it, no? Bigla na lang nagka-stars recently, like 2 days ago. Pero I'm doing the daily comic. There's no money from it. But I'm creating it out of no intention of the money. It's just from the passion talaga and the purpose. And money just follows as you continue creating out of it, no? Going back dun sa animator and comic industry, I think there are a lot of avenues right now for finding a work, like yung Upwork. I've been hearing Upwork for freelancers and something like that, pero I'm not really sure dun sa nitty-gritty details, no, finding work for the animator industry. But naniniwala kasi ako sa panahon ngayon, napakarami ng opportunities given the social media platforms, digital age. I've been reading some podcasts, some books and hearing some podcasts about it's the new age. And daming opportunities right now, and you can be a creator, you can make your own brand, you can find your own audience or customers online. I know someone na freelancer, yung customer niya nakita niya sa Reddit, yung iba nasa groups. Kumbaga, there's a lot of opportunities right now for us online na we can take, no. Not sure lang talaga specifically for animators, but I've seen it kasi sa comic sa mga freelancers na artists eh. Because I've known a lot of freelancer artists that are really doing well with Western clients. So,
Okay.
ayan.
Gusto ko din mahabol, meron ba parang mga misconceptions na nakukuha yung tao regarding sa works mo? Or like, yun nga, sa paggagawa ng comics? Siyempre, given na yung wala tayo makukuha pera dyan. Alam na ng
Siguro,
lahat ng artist.
yung unang misconception ko talaga yung ano, walang pera sa art.
Given na yun
Parang
sa Pinas.
usual joke yan sa Pinas, walang pera sa art, no? Pero sa panahon kasi ngayon, nag-shift talaga ngayon sa digital age, digital media age. And lahat ng tao ngayon, yung audience ngayon, nakatingin sa phones nila. Bihira na sa TV. Meron pa rin naman sa TV, pero most ng digital media nasa social media. And there are a lot of opportunity talaga for artists, no? And when you are a creator with some good audience then, one part that sustains Skate talaga brands. May mga brands din talaga nalalapit. And of course, these brands, it's something na for you as a person, parang authentic sa iyo na ikaw rin mismo ginagamit mo yung brand na yun para it's something na authentic din sa iyo as a person. And that's on the creator side, no? Art creator brands. Then there are other naman na parang art and Western clients and different clients. So, yung wala pong pera sa art, meron naman po. Nandiyan po sila. Hanapin lang po natin. Eh, minsan, lalapit din sila. Just parang, nabanggit ko yung habits kanina, no? When you created the habit of making yourself available online, posting diligently, or having yourself known, attract, parang, don't chase, but attract. Parang lalapit sila at lalapit talaga sila sa'yo eventually. Parang as you follow that path. Ayan.
Meron pa ba mga other pang mga misconceptions na naririnig mo?
So, yun yung unang pumasok sa isip ko eh. Ano pa bang mga misconception? Ano pang misconception? Baka meron kayong naiisip na misconception tapos parang, ay, oo nga.
Actually,
Ano ba?
nabato ko na nga yung pinaka-misconception. Hindi, meron isa na sinasabi ng tao na pagdating sa comics dapat super. Well, I think nasabi mo na din yung sagot dyan na meron kasi mga tao na sinasabi na dapat pagdating sa comic, super planned out talaga dapat.
Oh yeah,
dapat.
may mga nandidinig din ako that
Ah.
you really have to make it, parang, ano ba yung term dun? It should be serial. It should be in the form of a series din yung mga comics mo minsan. Sometimes you really have to make, serial.
Ganun, parang may connected universe dapat lahat.
Yeah,
Opo.
parang I always felt like na whenever they're making these comics, there's likely bound, they're likely bound to one another. I always thought na bakit kaya iniisip nila ng ganun? Di ba pwede one shot lang?
Especially na parang nauuso yung yun nga, yung mga Marvel, yung mga cinematic universes, parang
Yeah.
nasisingit na.
It seems like the market is demanding more on a much larger universe where multiple stories are actually interconnected to one another. Pero
Yes.
what do you think was a ganong misconception about those?
Actually, sabi ko nga, depende naman yan actually sa creator or sa artist. Kasi may mga creator naman na talagang naka-laid out yung ginagawa nila. And there are creators na one-shot. I mean, international comics, nandiyan si Shen Comics, Sarah Anderson. They're one-shot comic creators na when it has a story, pero one-shots siya. Regarding naman dun sa like comic creators that writes for series, yung mga mahabang series, no? Meron kasing dalawang type of writer. May mga writer na nagsusulat na have the end in mind, na alam nila yung ending, then sinusulat nila. Then may mga writer naman na nagsusulat nila of what comes across sa mind nila. They're just writing it without the end of mind. They're just writing it and form the path hanggang makuha nila yung ending. Depende sa kung anong ginagawa ng characters while the writer is thinking, di ba? Kasi minsan you just create the character and then write the story after the character. May ganun kasi. Those are two types of writing. And it's totally okay. Like how you want to do your writing. Saka mas comfortable. Me personally, I write with the end in mind. Kasi it makes me more sane somehow na alam ko na yung mangyayari and hindi ko ma-miss out yung mga little details. But of course, it depends on how you create your story. So yeah, nasa creator naman yun.
Yeah.
Pero siguro inapansin ko dyan na baka may mga baka baka may mga manga fans kasi na alam mo yung Hunter x Hunter, Hunter x Hunter, and then
Yes.
yung One Piece. And pag kino-compare ko kasi yung dalawa, parang iniisip ko si writer ng One Piece, Eiichiro Oda ata yun, tama ba? Yung
Yes.
writer ng One Piece, parang when I read it, I can see na meron siyang end in mind. Parang alam niyo na mangyari sa dulo. And whenever the writer creates mini arcs, may end in mind eh. Kunwari, may isa naalala ko noon na episode yung parang may malaking palaka na laging hinaharangan yung train. Tapos
Okay,
yung
Water
end of
7
that
arc.
series, may story pala. So that parang that means is may end in mind. And then writing One Piece, nagsimula siya doon for One Piece ang ending in mind. Nandun pa rin aligned lahat with the end in mind. So gandang-ganda ako na-amaze ako nun. Then pag binabalik ko si Hunter x Hunter, minsan iniisip ko, the writer is somehow the opposite. Parang, okay, sa mini-series niya may end in mind, pero parang parang the way when I tried to process and read it, parang nagsimula si Gon, si Killua, ganyan. Tapos biglang nagkaroon ng new world na parang minsan, may spider, di ba? Una spider, akala ko spider arc, ganyan. Biglang nagkaroon ng new world na mas malaki pa. Tapos yung build up sa tatay ni Gon, na akala ko is a big, parang, ganun daw to, parang, I don't know. So me as a reader, parang nafe-feel ko siya. na ganun. And depende pa rin talaga sa execution ng writer. Ayun. Sorry, nilabas ko na baka may mga Hunter x Hunter fans. I'm so sorry. I'm a reader and a fan. Pero na-disappoint kasi ako at tagal naghayatos kasi.
Oh, God.
may vendetta pala. So guys, kung gusto niyo mag-send ng complaint, paki-send na
I'm so
ng
sorry
joke.
for pero I watched the anime and the manga. That's why I have something to say about. But don't hate me. I love it.
Medyo nag-iingat na, kinakabahan na magsalita. Well, as much na parang gusto ko pa ituloy yung usapan na to, like, especially like, ang dami talaga. Like, hindi talaga biro yung sinabi ko na gusto ko i-gush lahat ng mga works mo. All
Yun
good
lang.
things must come to an end.
boy.
Yes, ito na yung ending ng episode na to. Pero, di ba Bakit third episode pa lang to? Pero,
Also fulfilling.
Before like we end all of this, ano ba? Kuya Hold. Ano ba yun? Wait, ano? Okay.
Before we end all this.
Hindi, ano yung TikTok po yun, yung parang yung jeep, tapos hindi po parang yung jeep, so si ate ko, ano sinasabi, Kuya Hold, ano yung
Share yung driver. Yeah.
Pero ayan po, meron ba kayong mga things na gusto nyo i-vlog? Like mga works that you want people to know, advertise, social medias, etc.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can follow us at Sskait. That's Sskait. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, kung saan.
If there's a way, there's a
Sure.
way.
Yeah, and sabi ko may upcoming events kami this year. We're posting it naman. There are pop-up booths. The biggest one is Conquest. This coming June 2 to 4. May big names din na pupunta. It will be really amazing. Di lang ako. So you can see the other guests that are going to come sa event. And I'm working on the book 3, multiserye. Mahaba kasi yung story ng season 1. So di ko siya ma-end agad. But once I end the season 1, I'll be making a book out of it na and have it
Yeah,
published.
wow.
Probably a season 2 for multiserye kasi dumami na yung detalye na hindi na siya kaya sa isang libro. Pag pinagsama ko yung season 1 and season 2 sa isang libro, hindi na siya magiging affordable for a colored book.
Oh,
Kaya
yeah.
kailangan ko siyang i-break into 2 para kahit papaano affordable pa rin siya sa readers. Yes.
Yeah.
So, ayun. And yun naman, get a talong.
May magkakaroon ba kami ng fast pass kung punta kami sa booth mo? Joke lang.
Nangalay ng ano? What?
Magkakaroon ba kami ng fast pass pag dumating kami sa booth mo?
Ano yung fast pass? Fast
Skip the
pass.
line.
Skip the line. O sabihin nyo lang, o daan lang kayo doon.
Oh!
Kaso may,
Alam na.
yung Conquest, walang line ang Conquest. Gulo lang. Usually, pag big events, gulo lang talaga yun nasa booth namin. Isang
Sige,
malaking
discount
crowd
na lang.
ng tao. Walang pila. Pero pag naglabas ako ng book, lalo ko nung pag new launch ng book, nagkakapila kasi yung mga repeat fans talaga,
Oh,
may pila
yeah.
talaga. Yeah.
There will
Pero
always
kapag
be the
pag event, gusto nyo na
answers.
kumuha ng plushie o ng kung ano-anong merch na meron tayo, blob lang talaga sila doon. Wala, mga swim through talaga doon. Ganun.
Sige, discount na lang po.
Ay, nako. Mga
Manifesting
sale,
that
ganun.
material.
Discounted sa booth.
Abang-abang na lang sa conquest.
Abang sa Conquest.
Yan, guys, if you're gonna be going to Conquest this June, alam nyo na, daanan nyo ang Skate Comics booth
Yes.
where they'll be selling their merch and they'll also be selling yung ano nila, yung physical copy of the multi series. Ayun, abangan na na.
Hopefully umabot. Hopefully, nape-pressure ako kasi that's a book read.
Yeah,
Hopefully umabot. Grabe. I'm really it was actually supposed to end this April, yung season 1. Pero hindi ko na-expect na haba yung panaginip arc kasi na-enjoy ko rin na yung dog show yung buong delicate dog show ko lang. Kunwari yung Dinajin arc, di naman dapat mahaba. Yung boss arc, di naman dapat mahaba. Pero humahaba siya kasi nga na-enjoy mo yung process tsaka yung journey ng characters. Na-enjoy mo lang talaga. Yeah.
Thank you so much for plugging, AJ. What about you, Charlie? Do you have anything to plug?
Oh yeah. I'm not really active on my social media art accounts anymore, but you guys can follow me at Twitter and IG at CFOZAQ or Fozak. But since I'm not super active, I would like to give a shout out to the Animotion page.
Yes!
As creative head, I would really appreciate when people pay attention more to the posts and really like engage with what we're posting out there. We have a lot of like people working on these posters, show them some love. Yeah, that's it.
They need it. They really need
the
it.
appreciation they can get.
Oh my gosh. And with that, this actually concludes our episode for layouting.
Yes. Totoo. So, guys, kung gustong-gusto nyo yun, yun pinakinggan nyo ngayon and kung mahal nyo kami, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, kalat nyo to sa friends nyo. Kung hindi nyo ginawa yan, okay lang yan, mahal na mahal pa rin namin kayo. Pero di ba mas maganda kung mutual ang ating feelings?
So true.
So, ayun nga, always remember, the more the merrier.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much po, Kuya AJ.
Thank you po.
Sige rin.
Ano po, another reminder lang po, I might be sending a document soon. Kailangan daw po yung signature niyo.
Go lang, let me know. Go lang.
Okay, thank you very much kasi the school needs it.
Oo.